Well, I have some bittersweet news. And the news is that we have now settled the creepy cop search case out of Putnam County, West Virginia. That's the case where my client had hidden surveillance cameras inside his house that caught cops sneaking around and searching the inside of his home. And that is what sort of accidentally started my YouTube channel, because I needed a way, and we needed a way to get this video footage out there as quickly as possible, which happened. And that was my very first video. Before I get into the details, a subscriber sent me this handy dandy cigar lighting material, so let me get my cigar going. I've posted about this case many times. It's been sort of a roller coaster. It's probably been one of my favorite cases that I've handled in my career. Not because it was the biggest case financially, but because it was interesting. It was highly interesting. This is a topic that most of us can agree on. It's the sanctity of one's home. It's the foundation of the Constitution. The fact that our founding fathers didn't want the British going in the homes of American citizens. The Fourth Amendment, the very foundation, and the home is the most protected place under the Fourth Amendment. So I really like those types of cases, and this one, there just won't be, hopefully anyways, another one like it. It just had all the ingredients of just a super interesting and sensational case. And I'm really shocked that it took several years to bring to a conclusion. It just seemed to me like that this was something that they would have come to me early on and said, look, let's make this thing go away. But for some reason they didn't. So it went on and on and on. As many of you have watched during the last couple of years on my YouTube channels, I've discussed this case. And we've had all sorts of drama fly back and forth with video depositions, with documents marked confidential. The officers ended up pleading the Fifth Amendment during their depositions, one of them 111 times. So it's been a roller coaster case for me, for my client, for the defendant officers, no doubt. It's sort of bittersweet now that it's come to a conclusion, but I'll explain why that is. So anyways, the case settled for the amount of $185,000. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. But we've seen on these YouTube videos and in these news reports, $1 million cases and $7 million cases and $10 million lawsuit, things like that. There's a difference between a $1 million lawsuit and what actually happens if you follow it to the end, okay? A case like this, a Fourth Amendment violation, a creepy cop search case. All right, they break into a house without a warrant, violate the Fourth Amendment. They don't arrest anybody. They don't hurt anybody. There's really $0 of damages. They push in an air conditioner, climb in the window. We have $0 damages. What do we have? Constitutional injury. What is that worth? I don't know. At the end of the day, a jury will get to decide what that's worth, if they want to award damages or not. A jury could award $1 for a Fourth Amendment violation. They could award $10. They could award $1 million. You just don't know. And you can't actually say, well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we think you should award $750,000 in this case. We feel that would be fair for this constitutional violation. You're not allowed to say that. So you never know what a jury is going to do. A jury could, they may make $20,000 a year, $30,000 a year. They may not want to award $500,000 or $1 million or even $100,000. A lot of what you're negotiating with before trial in Section 1983 cases is attorney's fees, where there's no actual damages, no medical bills, nobody's lost a leg or anything like that. The other side knows that if you win, they're going to have to pay, or likely are going to have to pay, your reasonable attorney fees and expenses. So in a case that takes a year to litigate or a couple years to litigate, that could end up being six figures very easily. So that's kind of what they're negotiating with. For instance, there was a case that recently settled in Florida that the ACLU litigated, and I think there was like $20,000 awarded to the actual plaintiff or something like that, and it was like $600,000 in attorney's fees for 4 years of litigation. So these sorts of Fourth Amendment constitutional cases, really your biggest damages are attorney's fees. So here We were able to get them up, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. They started very low, and it took 2 separate mediations to get them there. But they finally came up to $185,000. And here's why we couldn't walk away from that. Here's why I couldn't let my client walk away from that, is because what they were going to do is we were going to win the case. They did not have a warrant. They didn't have any exigent circumstances or other excuse such as consent. A landlord can't consent, for instance, to people going into a tenant's house or law enforcement. So we were going to win on at least some of the counts. What they can do, and what they were probably going to do, is since they were willing to pay $185,000, they would do what's called an offer of judgment. And what that means is they basically tell the court, we're willing to pay this amount if the plaintiff will accept it. And what that means is if the plaintiff does not accept that $185,000 and instead chooses to go forward to trial, then potentially the plaintiff, if the jury doesn't award that much money or more, is going to have to be on the hook for the legal fees for the other side and court costs. And judges, just after years and years of doing this, I know that the federal judges in a Fourth Amendment case with no medical bills, no injuries, if they were to hear that my client did not accept $185,000 or $200,000 in a case with no damages and made that judge bring in a jury and try a case over that, that would not turn out well. Most Fourth Amendment cases have settled for way less than that. In fact, I don't know if there's another West Virginia purely Fourth Amendment search and seizure case that has settled for more money than that. So I think it was a fair amount. I always would like to get more. I'm pretty happy with the number. All right, it also seems appropriate to send this case riding off into the sunset with a good banjo tune. Bear with me, I was much better at one time before I came down with rheumatoid arthritis. And if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back here, so you get what you pay for. Well, thanks for following along with this case, and also, remember, freedom is scary. Deal with it.